What's up, everybody? I saw that Tiffany met Mr. Robot. I mean, not Tiffany. I met Yuna met Mr. Robot. Tiffany is all kinds of grounded and on thin ice, and I don't know, how do you word it? What was it? It's like there's a difference between being polite and letting someone accept the resignation and just not showing up anymore. I'll just leave it at that. But oh, I just went out. So, Yuna, I saw everyone's making a big deal about Mr. Robot, or she met Mr. Robot at some Paris bullshit. And I also saw that Taeyeon hugged some douchey loser at some Paris bullshit. Look, again, I don't give a fuck what these bitches do. I give a fuck what Tiffany does, because Tiffany slid into my DMs and told me all this bullshit, and then I found out she was Stephanie and all this other bullshit, and it's like, that changes everything, right? You give a fuck what these other bitches do? I don't fucking know who they are. Anyways, I do want to reiterate that I was part. Well, technically, you could say that. Well, I have said that Mr. Robot is based off of me. It's not like neither here nor like the dude didn't know. He's the fucking douche that they casted to do it, and they happened to cast a Peruvian and all that bullshit. I'm just saying. The whole point of Mr. Robot, though, before they made it all woke and bullshit, which is why they bought it out so they could change it, was so you could do whatever you want and be anti-establishment, and you do that with hacking and all that bullshit. Because like I don't know what to tell you. Like this really isn't an act. Like yes, when I went to that was such a shitty thing. There was something in Arizona that I went to. I went to something in Arizona where I had to drive everyone around, and if I would have brought the right wireless card, because I brought the one that doesn't do packet injection, but if I would have brought the one that does packet injection, all you motherfuckers. Anyways, so I got drunk instead because I didn't bring the right one. And then I coded some Python DHCP server, and if I remember correctly, I played Final Fight, but without a joystick. I had to play Final Fight on the keypad. That was a pain in the ass. Um, I brought the one that could do packet injection to Night for Freedom to brunch. Man, those mimosas, everyone just drank mimosas. It gave me like the turkey squirts, all like they had like some fancy Chef Boyardee, not Boyardee, what is it called? They had some fancy shit. They had some fancy shit there. It was like one of those eggs on top of like a pancake or some bullshit. I don't remember. And then everyone at those things is weird. They're all so weird. Anyways, um, yes, I really only was going to those because I was trying to run into Tiffany again. It's so retarded. Stephanie. Um, I was trying to throw the parties to run into her again, and her cheap ass was like, "Oh, I can't go to those because they're too expensive. I have to pretend to be some high-class Galaxy Supernova poon when really I'm just cheap sellout fucking whore." Anyways, what was it? Look, I will just say this. On Mr. Robot season like 3, which was like the worst one in my opinion. I never even watched that one all the way through. It was so horrible. But and anyone who's watched me watch it, I complain the whole time how they get it wrong. Um, uh, what was I talking about? They try to have like Silk Road, and they try to have like the power plant I worked at, and try to have like the schizo talking to himself and all that bullshit. And I don't even really think it's that big of a deal. Like personally, like sometimes you ever just like try to like they call it tabletop exercises in cyber and all that bullshit. You try to like plan things out, so you just kind of like just plan things out in your head, and sometimes you get a little ahead of yourself and all that bullshit. But the entire point of that was supposed to be if you use technology, because they say any technology is like magic. So if you use new technology, and cryptocurrency is technology, and you save in cryptocurrency, and you cash out in silver and gold, you can do whatever the fuck you want to. And I really think it's in poor taste how they copied Amanda in season one when his girlfriend dies and whatnot, but that's neither here nor there. I don't want to get into it. Um, Again, the actors didn't know. But but the thing is, Yuna didn't do what the fuck she wants to. Yuna didn't tell me she thinks she's like my soulmate, and then basically piss on my foot and tell me it's right, and then so she can steal from my niece. Why does your niece have $10,000? Because we gave it to her. It doesn't matter. You promised something, and then instead of doing what you promised, you got your grubby little hands on the money and hung out with a bunch of douchey losers because you're a little handshake club. Fuck you, you stupid fucking pricks. Seriously, why don't you go steal some more from some more children? You probably will. Fucking pieces of shit. Anyways, so yeah, I was just to say like, well, I don't give a shit what Yuna and Taeyeon do. I mean, I would still. I'll put you this way. I so don't give a shit what Yuna does that if Yuna was to slide into my DMs, I would totally pick her over Tiffany just because Tiffany's a fucking used goods ghetto trash whore who fucking nobody wants. And Yuna can help me prove that if she wants to, because I can still nut on Taeyeon's face if I nut on you. Unfortunately, you'd have to become a citizen on your own. Otherwise, you could only be two, and I'll let you and Taeyeon fight over who can be number two. But yeah, like, I don't give a shit. I don't particularly see a need for the bat signal to go off over this one, but like I don't give a shit because they never told me anything. Okay? Like Tiffany took it upon herself to write a bunch of songs about me. Not tell, and I think one of her songs is called like Remember or some bullshit, and she's collaborating with a bunch of douches. So you would write us it if it came out after Over My Skin. Your brilliant idea was I'll collaborate with some douchey losers. One of them from what was it, Victoria, whatever the fuck it is. By the way, Victoria, I think this is gonna sound like it's kind of that thing where like if they're gonna steal your work, it doesn't really matter. If Pedalin was gonna become anything, I think I'm glad that it became that pretty little thingy. Victoria had a show on MTV, I think it was, where she was using like some kind of a Tinder app to go around and catch mass murderers. And she was working with like cyber detectives. And ironically, they actually do shit like that. It's just nowhere near as glamorous. uh, VMs are used for everything. Oh yeah, no, but like, so I brought my laptop. I brought the laptop to that brunch thing where everyone was drinking mimosas, and I showed them. I was like, "Look, like I own the network right now. Like everything is going through my laptop right now." And I was allegedly, and I was showing them, and they were just like, "So if we put you in charge of the stereos, do you think you could help with the stereo system?" You dumb motherfuckers. Like that's what you're dealing with. And I'll tell you a secret. Like one of the things I heard back when I used to give a shit about all this like society bullshit, because again, like religion is just a front. It's a to kind of like to tell who's the idiots are. Like everyone goes to church, right? Because they got their family. And then some of them only kind of go because they have their family, and some go because they go to church, right? So like it's kind of like a shit test. Like, are you retarded or not? You know this is a metaphor and all that bullshit, right? It's kind of like that. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, like no, I don't give a shit what unit does. I mean, I think you're hot. I think Yuna had a Tinder, and I think me and Yuna matched on Tinder, but then Tiffany ruins everything, and then I'm pretty sure what happened was I got into a fight with Tiffany, and then Tiffany was literally sitting right next to Yuna and was like, match with him on Tinder and see what he does, and shit like that is why I don't have a Tinder. I'll be totally honest. When I was banging those Brazilian, oh, is that's why she may teach me. You could have just talked to me and teach you. I teach you. You don't teach me, I teach you. Now you pay the price. Stupid geriatric whore. I don't I don't care what Taeyeon can go hug everyone she wants to. Okay, Yuna can go take pictures with everyone she wants to. All right. They never told me that they had a vision and all this bullshit and I'm their soulmate. Which again, like I was like, that's some pretty bullshit. That's some pretty fancy bullshit. And I know you're gonna want money somehow, some way. I just didn't think she would take money from a 10-year-old child. It's kind of like that saying, like, with or without religion, good people will do good and bad people will do bad. But for a bad person, that takes religion. Only in this case, Tiffany is a really shitty person and she is pretending to be a good person and using religion as a mask. But what was it? Like, and look, it really honestly, it's just kind of annoying because everyone kind of copies me, but like, it was not at all what Mr. Robot turned out to be. It was not at all. It was supposed to be about a dude who uses hacking from his phone, like the Net Hunter, but this is before Net Hunter came out. And back then, it was still kind of new that the police were like using cell phone traffic jammers and cell phone site simulators. So like he, the guy who was peddling and also riding a bike around town in New York City and whatnot, he, instead of hacking everyone, he would hack the police, and they would hack everyone else, and they wouldn't know what he was doing. He was just that dude. It was honestly, it was like what would happen if like Kevin Mitnick like wasn't a nerd, is what I was going for. But it became like a methadone clinic in season one. Uh, CBDCs in season two, and in season three, I think like some dude in a dress squatted and peed, and I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this. It was supposed to be about how you can use hacking to get away with bullshit. So that way you stay under the radar. That way you can accumulate large sums of wealth in cryptocurrency and do whatever you want. You can like drop your balls on everything and like not give a fuck and be like, ah, I don't give a fuck. And like you really don't give a fuck because you got a bunch of cryptocurrency. So you're like, yeah, the market's down now, so I won't really sell that much. I'll sell like a little bit because I want to get some, like some fucking PF Chang's or whatever. I don't give a fuck really. But I'm waiting for the next one. That was a good spike. I could sell it all now and be set for life, or I could wait until the system totally crashes and pay no taxes ever. I mean, roads are fine and all, but taxes totally suck. Like that's kind of like what I was going for, but they didn't do that. They were like, I'm an Irish female, so I'm a detective, obviously. And did you know that I have marital problems with my old gray-haired scissor sister? That's because we're in New York. By the way, there's some Chinese people who wear dresses, and they're in charge of all these corporations. It's a good thing Mr. Robot knows how to like delete his cell phone messages and throw his server across the room. Why would you even be using a physical server? At the time they had virtualization, you should have been using a container. It's like I will end it at this. Okay, so like It's like the opposite of doing some job interviews. Remember how like the other day I was saying how like sometimes HR is stupid? So, like not recently, but at, at this one job I had, I remember doing the job interview. They were like, "Oh, so you know Kubernetes?" And I was like, "I mean, a little bit. You know, I'm not like an expert, you know, but like I understand what a container is and I can spin one up." You know? I'm assuming you have documentation for me and how not to break anything, right? And then and they're like, well, how many years Kubernetes? This is a senior position, so we need you to have at least 8 years Kubernetes. 10 would be preferred. 10 years experience with Kubernetes. And I'm like, I got like four. And they're like, four? Four for a senior? I'm like, well, you know, Kubernetes came out 5 years ago, right? So like, but this is like a few years. It's been out for like 8 or 10 or whatever now. But I just remember I was like, you fucking stupid. But like the way they filmed Mr. Robot, it's like the opposite of that. They're like, "It's 2015, it's 2014. Yeah, I'm so angry. Fighting the power. I'm gonna take this giant fucking, like MX 2000 Preventia, whatever the fuck firewall, and like barely move it because it's so fucking heavy. Why wouldn't you just put it on a USB and put it in your pocket? Servers down. That's what they did. So allegedly, I'm not legally allowed to tell you that this is what they did at the Silk Road, but this is as close as I'm legally allowed to come to tell you that. You know, every time one of the marketplaces is like down for maintenance, or they're like just they don't even tell you. You're like about to make a transaction and everything just crashes. That's why you use Escrow. Okay, it just falls back to the Escrow. They pulled it, the USB. They had the var www on a USB. They pull it. They go. They do their life, they live their life, they put it back on, and maybe they put like an IRC or whatever. I guess an encrypted Discord now would be the next thing. And for the next 2 hours, you can make your thingies again because you don't need to know everything. No, so angry, so angry. What the fuck does that? Just virtualize shit. Come on, man. Come on, miss. You're better than that, Mr. Robot. You're better than that. All right. Peace out.